But I suppose, to be a little bit provocative, what I'd throw back to you in terms of the comment you made at the back about Labour being a capitalist party, you know, the challenge is for parties like yours to grow to be a mass party. The challenge is that while nobody, I don't hear people marching through the streets saying that global finance capitalism is a wonderful system, the kind of mass base and appeal that a communist alternative had, of whatever description, does not really appear to me to be there with many people. And if that's a failing around their consciousness or the role of social democratic parties, that may be the case. It may also be the case that people are looking for a new sort of politics around sustainability and green issues and that sort of thing. But I do think that the challenge has to be put back onto left-wing parties to ask themselves why the ideas that you put forward and the alternatives you put forward are not getting support, just as much as in my job in the union movement, we have to ask ourselves why we're not getting as many people joining the union movement and taking action as we would like.
What I would like to pick up on, though, is that sort of challenge that Peter Conway put out about, well, if your ideas are so good, you know, if your way is so good, how come the hard left is so small? And it was quite a good question, which I've been thinking about. I think there's sort of 3 or 4 things that occur to me. One is that a lot of the small position of the hard left is down to very serious mistakes that we've made over the years. And I say that as someone who's been in communist type organisations since 1973, been involved in one organisation which was closely tied for a few years, not for its whole life, but for a few years, to just waiting for the next copy of the Beijing Review, basically, to see what we should do next. And it's a bit of an oversimplification, okay, but that's what we did instead of trying to use the tools of Marxism and analyse our own situation. That's what we used to do. And didn't that get us in the shit? Okay, there are other tendencies who did similar things in a different style. Okay, there were gurus overseas that were followed, and in some mix, it was a funny mixture because you had a lot of perfectly laudable militant unionism, a lot of sincerity, a great deal of sacrifice mixed up with a lot of sort of religious sort of bullshit. Okay, and that is one of the reasons that sort of type of stuff why people would come in and join for a while, and they'd say, oh, look, this is ridiculous, and they would leave. So part of it's their own fault. The other part, I think, and related to that, is the fall of the Soviet Union and the so-called death of communism, and what that removed, I think, from the public consciousness was the idea of somewhere over there's an alternative to capitalism. Might not be all that flash. Okay, some people think it's better, some people think maybe it's even worse, but there was an alternative to capitalism. When the Soviet Union fell, it sort of removed that idea, and I could feel in the trade union movement the removal of that concept opened up such a huge door for partnership. Okay, look, this is as good as it gets, so we better adapt to this in some fashion. I think that is a far bigger, thing that impact than is realised. The second reason is that times have got harder. Capitalism has tightened up considerably. This got more aggressive, and the organised labour wasn't equipped to handle it. So collective ideas have taken a bit of a hiding in recent times. The third reason I think that the hard left is small is that in a capitalist society, a revolutionary organisation of size to create a real difference they couldn't be tolerated for any length of time, right? If you had a big, powerful revolutionary movement fighting capitalism every Monday morning, you know, society would be in a parlous state. And history shows that revolutionary movements are relatively small up until quite soon before there's a big revolutionary upsurge, and there's a dialectical process. You have long periods of quantitative change, and then periods of qualitative change happen extremely rapidly, and things change in days and hours and even minutes. They change very rapidly. So in a way, it is, although we're not complacent about it, it is natural to a certain extent for hard left revolutionary organisations to be small in sort of relatively stable times of capitalism.